Sweden is the home of the globally famous Ikea Corporation, a name that is often included in the list of the world's most livable countries and is one of the 10 countries highly rated for its level of prosperity. Article 1. For a country to be prosperous, its development indicators must always be at a high and stable level. For example, political security, economic stability, development, education, employment, social welfare are emphasized and Switzerland is promoted. Typically, there are all those factors. A northern European country with a population that is not too large, only 10 million people on an area of 528,447 square kilometers, the terrain is mostly covered with snow and ice almost all year round. But they are always rich because of their unique path in creating conditions for the country to develop more and more. Discover the world's true self-sufficient tycoon. While more than half of the world was severely devastated by the consequences of 2 world wars, Sweden was not affected at all due to its long-standing policy of neutrality. And thanks to that policy, Sweden was able to grasp the opportunity to develop outstandingly and comprehensively like today. We can describe life in Sweden with 2 words: perfect. They can create advantages to serve themselves without depending on any other country in the world. The first is about education and science. Sweden has many world-famous philosophical scientists. In the field of philosophy, it is not strange to mention Emanuel Swedenborg, the author of the book The Doctrine of Heaven with the purpose of converting Christianity and is considered who founded a new religion for Swedish history and culture, or Alfred Bernard, the inventor of dynamite. He used all his assets to found the Nobel Prize. At this time, scientific research and education programs in this country are very developed. So it's very normal for talent to grow like mushrooms. Most recently, Svante Pääbo won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Biomedicine for his pioneering role and groundbreaking discovery of human evolution, while his father was also a biochemist. Nobel Prize-winning biochemist Sune Bergström was also the winner of the Young Nobel Prize in 1982. In fact, Sweden's talented people have enough capacity to grow their country's mushrooms, but due to its open foreign policy, therefore, this country is very welcoming when it comes to absorbing talented people from all over the world. They have appropriate study and research programs and help attract foreign graduate students. Sweden has a good educational background, so the degrees awarded by the country's universities are among the top in the
Các
world
trường
in
đại học
many
được xếp hạng
fields.
hàng đầu bao gồm
Top-ranked
Viện
universities include
Karolinska, Đại
Karolinska
học
Institutet
Lund,
Lund
Đại học
University
Uppsala,
KTH Royal
Trường
Institute
Kinh
of
tế Stockholm
Technology
và Đại
Stockholm
học
School of
Stockholm.
Economics and Stockholm University. So when you hold a degree from these schools in your hand, you can apply for a job anywhere in the world. It's even cheaper. More valuable than the top leaders in the US. One of the advantages that foreign students choose to study in Sweden is that the country's educational platform is completely free during their studies. Students receive free food and healthcare, and receive learning equipment. The school bus will take students to school and home. The interesting thing is that right from the first class, students receive a monthly scholarship of about 750 krona, equivalent to nearly $90 for pocket spending. For adults, Sweden has established nearly 147 different training centers with the basic task of supporting and training careers compatible with modern requirements such as information technology, management design. Marketing. Higher education is not only free, but they even provide material incentives. Each student receives a monthly scholarship equivalent to about $250. Another outstanding advantage of the Swedish education system is that this country has all the best learning conditions for children of different races. This country is home to nearly 1.8 million expatriates from Turkey, India, Chile, Iran, Israel, Russia. For this population, there are more than 100 special schools, and these schools it is possible to teach in 60 different languages around the world. For these minority communities, the government often considers building separate libraries and special television and radio programs in that language. Their language. People in some European countries are famous for their simplicity and frugality and do not like to brag. The same goes for Sweden. Many families here have produced their own electronic Own electricity at home to save on the national electricity system, and above all, avoid wasting this type of infinite resource. In the city of Skellefteå, there are many houses that are not connected to the power grid or external heating sources, but they often operate entirely on solar energy. Accordingly, solar energy is collected during the summer months. The surplus is carefully calculated to be stored for future use.in winter. This model is quite popular in Sweden. Residential apartment buildings or houses in the suburbs are also applied. This is said to be the kingdom's green climate goal. About the Swedish economy, known as the startup paradise, this nickname says it all. When the capital Stockholm, Sweden has the number of billion-dollar startups, the second most in the world, second only to America's Silicon Valley. Sweden is also the only country in the world that allows all employees to quit their jobs within 6 months to implement startup ideas. One of the successful startup models is Spotify. In addition to the digital economy, Sweden also has an open economy with stable and sustainable development. GDP coming from the country's export products is always kept at 50% of total GDP over a year. Producing and exporting iron, steel, hydropower, furniture to countries in the European region always creates a stable transport relationship for Sweden, and export GDP is always at an ideal level. In addition, Sweden also trades with many countries considered potential partners, including Vietnam. Because it does not divide into factions, it has helped to keep Sweden's door for economic integration always wide open. While many other northern European countries are covered with snow and ice almost all year round and are poor in natural resources, Sweden is different. The terrain of this country is extremely diverse, from mostly forests to ranges. The mountains are undulating, and in the north there are many freshwater lakes interspersed between mountain valleys, suitable for hydroelectric development. The south has fertile land suitable for agriculture. Besides, what is in the ground of Sweden is also a potential gold mine. This country is blessed with huge mineral deposits such as iron, steel, copper, aluminum, uranium, mining industry, and Swedish mineral processing, the most prominent of all the countries in the Nordic region. It can be said that Sweden fully converges all economic development methods, from traditional to modern, from agriculture to heavy industry. These complementary industries create a huge and stable source of revenue for this country. The most important cause and effect, the main and most important reason for Sweden to be worthy of the title of tycoon, is the correct policy of this Nordic kingdom for more than 2 centuries. Sweden has maintained a policy of neutrality from 1814 after the last war between the countries in the Baltic Sea and the establishment of the Kingdom of Sweden until today, even during the 3 wars that shocked the world. During World War I, World War II and the Cold War, this country did not side with either side but chose to be self-sufficient in a tense world situation, avoiding being devastated by outside forces and sustaining itself. National Development Association. And that achievement is also what Sweden possesses today. Great opportunities and achievements have created a reputation for Sweden internationally, that is, high-quality human resources have created an outstanding military and defense weapons economy. Although it is one of the neutral countries, for many years, Sweden has not only successfully developed the defense industry but also exported many types of dark weapons, new for other countries. In recent years, Sweden has often been ranked 12th or 15th on the list of countries that export the most weapons in the world. Sweden's arms exports in 2020 and 2021 reached $1.7 billion. This product is present in 56 markets globally, of which the largest customers are the UAE, USA, and Brazil. The list of weapons exported by Sweden is also quite diverse, from fighter spare parts, radars, electronic warfare systems, aerial warning systems, armored vehicles, combat vehicles, infantry, missiles, fighter jets, warships and even submarines. This country has even sold submarines and transferred submarine building technology to many countries such as Australia, Singapore, and Denmark, in which the Colin-class submarines that Australia is using were built by the country itself, but there are sources. Original design from Sweden's Västergötland-class submarines. Currently, the Singapore Navy is also equipped with two Archer-class submarines which also originate from the Västergötland class. Singapore also once owned Sweden's Challenger-class submarines. Sweden also masters fighter aircraft production technology and stands out with multi-role fighter aircraft such as the JAS-39 Gripen born in the late 1980s. JAS-39 is supplied to many countries such as the Czech Republic and Hungary, South Africa, Thailand, Brazil. Not only that, this fighter line is also being considered for ordering by many countries such as the Philippines, Austria, India, and Indonesia with a maximum speed twice the speed of sound. It has a combat range of about 800 kilometers, can carry many different types of missiles such as ground attack missiles, anti-ship missiles, air-to-air missiles, and many other modern bombs. Not only there are warships or fighter planes, and the Swedish CV-90 infantry fighting vehicle is also very popular. CV-90 can be equipped with many types of automatic controlled artillery with a caliber of 40 ml, machine guns, grenade launchers, combined with many modern combat technologies. CV-90 can operate in a variety of terrains with maximum speed is about 70 km per hour and is currently used in many countries such as Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Netherlands, Switzerland, Norway. Even the US is considering ordering this infantry fighting vehicle model to upgrade the Army's weapons. Regarding weapons for the Swedish Army, it also provides many types of self-propelled artillery and rockets. In addition, the weapons produced by this country include the RBS-70 anti-aircraft missile, which is being used by the armies of nearly 20 countries. The NLAW anti-tank missile has been ordered by many countries and Ukraine has also used this type to deal with the enemy. Russian Army. Sweden rekindles its intention to join NATO. In the 2000s, the world's poles have undergone certain changes. This means that if one day formerly neutral countries suddenly decide to choose factions to cooperate, this is absolutely no surprise. Sweden has proven that theory is true because last year a number of countries in the Nordic region intended to join the world's largest military alliance NATO, that is Finland and includes Sweden. If Sweden officially becomes a member of this organization, 200 years of neutrality will no longer be meaningful. This country will undergo certain changes and be controlled by powerful forces such as the United States. With the regular sale of military weapons to the US, it is easy to understand why Sweden has been shaken in the war of choosing sides. Currently, the admission of Sweden to NATO is finalized. Previously, the country this family has shown many signs of being anti-Russian. It was arms aid to Ukraine in the war between the two countries in Eastern Europe. It should be noted that Sweden actually provided aid and not just traded conventional weapons. This certainly has an American arm involved, knowing how to take advantage of opportunities to attract allies in terms of military and weapons to fight against Russia on the Russian-Ukrainian chessboard. On February 24, 2023, a year marking the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, many NATO allies, including Sweden, announced a new aid package for Ukraine. Sweden's aid package includes subsystems of the air defense missile system. Sweden also pledged to provide 10 stridsvagn 122 tanks and 10 main combat vehicles announced by Stockholm to strengthen the defense system. Ukraine's tank brigade. And with such manifestations, the whole world understands that Sweden has officially chosen a side, that is, siding with Ukraine and its allies against Russia. US President Biden and Finnish President Sauli Niinisto have repeatedly affirmed that Sweden will follow Finland's lead to join the most powerful military alliance in the world. And once it joins NATO, Sweden will certainly have many change. In the immediate future this country will be included in Russia's sights and will not be able to avoid future retaliatory moves. The Russian embassy believes that joining NATO is not a guarantee of safety for one's country, but it is the fastest path to the abyss.